The tri series between South Africa, Zimbabwe, New Zealand kicks off tomorrow. And I am looking forward to it mainly because of the squad that was selected. And it's awesome to be able to see Coach Shukri in action in white ball cricket as the coach. So, this particular show is going to be majorly talking about perhaps the squad and the individuals that are in the squad. I think that's where we're going to go with this review. Majority of it is going to be about that. So, I want to be talking about the Tri Series as a whole and not just only talking about the game tomorrow against Zimbabwe. I want to be talking about everything, all the games, and what I would like to see, what type of approach I would like to see from South Africa, and what sort of team dynamic I'm looking for when it comes to the T20 setup. So, this show is going to be majority about that. And I thought, let's give you a preview. I would have done it a little bit later today, but I have other things that I need to do from a family standpoint tonight, so I won't be able to make it to do it this evening. So I had to come on a little bit earlier than usual to drop this preview. But we're going to get into it, guys. As per usual, the comment section is open. The super chats are open if you want me to read your comments out. And we're going to get into it and dive into everything with regards to this particular series that is happening for us. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos, smash the like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Remember to comment in the comment section after we've ended the stream. You guys have been brilliant with that, and our videos are really getting pushed into the algorithm because of it. So please get involved with that because it really helps the channel out a hell of a lot. So I'm looking forward to you guys getting involved in the comment section. I try to reply to as many as I can. Um, and I want you guys to continue doing that as a community because we're building a very good community again. We're getting some nice traction on TikTok as well with the videos. So please go ahead and follow us there too. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's preview. It is a preview of the entire Tri series. So let's get into it. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we preview the Tri Series between South Africa, New Zealand, and Zimbabwe. This is going to be a very interesting show. We're going to get into all of this, and we're going to get into the discussions with regards to all of the news that has come out, or whatever the case may be. We're going to be discussing everything. So we're going to be talking about obviously the Tri Series as a whole. I'm not going to be just talking about the game tomorrow alone. It's going to be a preview for the entire Tri Series, and I think the best place probably to start would be obviously the squad and talking about the players in the squad. Um, I wanted to just check quickly if we did get any updates regarding um, Luandre Pretorius. I see Justin asking if he's injured. I just want to see if we maybe the 20 that was Marco Janssen. I just want to see if they maybe gave us an update on the squad regarding Pretorius because I don't remember. Um, they said that Luandre has sustained a soft tissue injury to his right wrist after being struck with a ball. He underwent X-rays on Monday morning, which was during the test match, revealed no fracture. Um, he will not field, and they didn't give any updates on his injury since then. And I'm trying to find any, but I don't see anything. I didn't get a press release about it either to discuss whether he'll be available or not. I haven't really listened to the the audio files of Rassi van der Dussen, but we can listen to that as well. I think I'm going to just send that to myself as well so that I can. I'm going to send that to myself as well so we can maybe review that and listen to that and react to that on the show as well if there's a little if there's time for that. um, then we can get into the audio file as well and discuss that. But as far as what I know, Luandre should be still in the squad. So I'm assuming I'm going to take that assumption. Um, I just want to see does this audio play though that I just sent to myself. I only got that today, guys. So sorry that I wasn't really prepared for this. For the presser because you don't always get it like you want it. So I'm just gonna double check that quickly to see if it does play in my. Okay, cool. We do have it. Okay, so let's start off with the squad, everybody, and discuss that because I think that's the major talking point. So as you can see, you've got Rassi van der Dussen as captain uh, in the batting department. You got Riza Hendricks, you got Deva Brevis, you got Ruben Herman, Luandre Pretorius. Then in the seaming department, you got Nande Berger, Kwena Mapaka, Lungingiri. Then in the all-rounder department is Corbin Bosch, Gerald Kutsia, George Linder, Senator Mutasami, Andila Samalani, and Ngaba Peter in the spinners department. So let's talk about the batters first. It is interesting. I think it's quite interesting that Rassi van der Dussen was trusted and he was given the responsibility as captain for this particular match. That there is still a future for Rassi van der Dussen in cricket. It does give me in cricket for South Africa. It does give me a little bit of calmness because to know that an experienced player like him is still involved with all of these youngsters in the side. I've always spoken on this channel about the way I would like to see youngsters get integrated into squads. We've seen it now in the test arena, and now I'm hoping that we're going to see it now in the T20s, and it seems that that's the way. They've held on to Riza Hendricks, they've held on to Rassi van der Dussen, given certain players a little bit of a rest that they did, truly do deserve, that have played IPL and they played every minute of cricket throughout the 2 3 years for the last 2 years. So Aiden Markram obviously getting that rest, and Tristan Stubbs obviously getting that rest. So it does give us a nice little David Miller as well. So I forgot to mention him as well, getting a rest and allowing some other players to step up in between to see how talented they are as we build towards that T20 World Cup that is happening. That's going to be around the corner. So it's good to see that we still have those experienced heads like Riza Hendricks and Rassi van der Dussen that can impart their knowledge on the younger generational talents that we have here, like Deva Brevis and Luandre Pretorius. Now, Ruben Herman is a special case because he is a little bit older, but he's new to the international setup. So he's been doing really well domestically, and on the domestic scene and in SA20s, etc., and really starting to make a name for himself, and particularly by the way he plays the game. He's very assured in his style. He's very assured in the type of gameplay that he has, the type of aggressive nature that he has, and he's shown sensibility in the way that he approaches his batting. And he does bat with a lot of maturity because of his age, of course, but he does show a lot of maturity within his batting, which is really good to see. So I do like the balance of that. I would say it would be nice to maybe have an extra batter. But I can understand the thought process here because where does South Africa have an issue in the white ball arena? I think it is in the all rounder department. We don't have enough all rounders that are hitting a certain level, right? So we have to kind of rely on a lot of specific players. So having Corbin Bosch in the mix, Gerald Kutsia, George Linder, Senator Mutasami, and Andile Semalani, we're getting to see more all-rounders in this format now that Coach Shukri can select from. If they have good tours like good try series like they did in the test match with the newer guys really had a good showing. That helps for the situation. Yes, it gives Coach Shuki a little bit of a headache, but it also helps him broaden his pool of players that he has so that he can select for certain opposition, he can select for certain. Yes, conditions don't play maybe as big of a part in T20 cricket as in the other two formats, but it will still play its part. Particularly when it comes to the toss and who's batting first and chasing in certain conditions. So I like that. The thing that I'm most excited about, though, I'm gonna have to be honest, is the return of Nandre Berger to this international fold. He was injured for a very long time. Haven't seen him in domestic cricket for a long time, and the fact that we're gonna get to see him play cricket again, that's what I'm excited about here because we need him. I feel in all formats for South Africa, Test arena as well, and as well as ODIs. So I'm excited to see that we're integrating him back into the international fold, but playing him in T20s first. It's a little bit less stressful on the body as obviously Test cricket would be. So I'm excited to see him back into the mix again. Kwena Mapaka, um, he needs to start to find ways on how to make things work for him, how he can utilize his pace, but also keep that consistency. You know, that's my biggest concern with Kwena Mapaka is that someone needs to put an arm around him, perhaps, and guide him with regards to understanding that getting good lines and lengths consistently is more important than just bowling 150. If he can maybe tone down his speed a little bit, because normally coaches, I think, would tell you, I know with me personally, it works. When I was a young cricketer, I mean, I didn't play as like high levels of cricket. But when I was playing cricket, and I was younger, I was always trying to bowl too fast, and the coach would always tell me, Khalid, you don't have to bowl so fast. Try and just slow down a little bit and focus on getting the ball putting the ball where you want to bowl. And then what I would do is I would obviously ease myself into the pace. So I would first like put the ball in a good areas consistently, and then as I'm getting that consistently and getting control over that, then I up the pace, and it worked for me personally. So I don't know if that's a very basic way of coaching, but I think maybe perhaps with Quena, basics and the coaches need to go maybe back to the basics with him and just tell him to just slow things down a bit and focus on his accuracy first and then up his pace. Now, I know in a T20 match, you're not going to have really the time for that. And I think maybe his style at the moment is almost tailored for this format because he's played more of it. So his understanding of the format is a lot better than it might be in Test cricket. So I would like to see how he does. Lungi Giri is there for that experience. I feel it's good he needs to play as much cricket as possible, I feel. Because if we're going to be utilizing him as one of our main bowlers in the Test arena, playing as much cricket as possible to get him in that rhythm is of utmost importance. So Lungin in there, I don't have an issue with that. I wish I could see Otniel Bartman and those guys as well. Lazard Williams is still injured, so to see him back in the mix would be nice. But then the spinner department, Bapita has a lot to still prove. I don't think a lot of Proteas fans are very sold on him quite yet. He's still a very young spinner, and wrist spin is a very particular style of bowling. It's very finicky. You can easily expose a wrist spinner if they miss their lines and lengths. So he needs them as much cricket as possible because we don't have many wrist spinners in the country to replace the likes of like Shamo, for example. So we need Ngaba Peter to start getting to that level that we know that he has the potential to reach. And I feel that he also needs some guidance because he's still a youngster. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Then in the all-rounder department, I mean, Corbin Bosch speaks for itself. Fans have been calling for his name to be in the Protea setup for a while. He's one of our few bowlers that bowl close to 150 consistently, and so is Gerald Coetzee. I'm excited about Gerald being back in the mix as well because it gives us an extra option in that department with the fast ball. And it's a nice thing that he's here and then that we can see him play again, and then he can really get himself into the flow of things when it comes to cricket. And then we got George Linder. How excited are we all about George Linder, particularly on this channel, because we've been trying to push that George Linder idea for quite some time now, guys. We've been speaking about George Linder, George Linder, George Linder, getting that opportunity, getting a chance to to play for South Africa more regularly. So I'm excited about George Linder as well. I think Andile Sundaram Mutasami in this format, I'm not fully sold on him in the T20 format quite yet, but it's interesting. I would like to see how he performs in this particular series. We've seen what he can do in Test cricket. I'm sold on him in the longer formats, ODI and Test cricket. I think we should integrate him as another option in the squad. Andile Samalani, an amazing talent. I've always had high hopes for Andile Samalani. We haven't quite seen it in Proteas colours yet. So it's another opportunity for Andile Simalani to prove his doubters wrong and to show people that he can be that all-rounder that South Africa is looking for, a balanced all-rounder, because that's how I see him. I don't see him as a bowling all-rounder or batting all-rounder. I see him as a balanced all-rounder. I think he can do both roles equally at the equal level. And I think that we need to see him more. And that is something that I would love to see from a South African standpoint, is that Andile gets more game time and gets integrated into the teams, and we get to see him a lot more often, because that's something that doesn't really we don't get enough cricket for us to be able to uh, see the players that we would like to see play as much games as we would like. So that's something that I really need to talk about now for the entire series, because this is a try series. Sorry, I would like to see a core group of players get selected. A core group of players where that that Coach Shukri probably feels are shoe-ins in the 11, right? And then around that make tweaks. So, and that can be dependable on multiple factors. If he wants to maybe give someone a rest, or whether it be conditions, or whether it be opponents, whatever. I would like to see small tweaks and not massive wholesale changes throughout the series. Um, and that will obviously be dependent on who he selects in the first game, and then maybe my opinion will change. But if I was sitting here now today making the decisions for tomorrow, etc., I think that's maybe how I would approach it, because I think that the younger players need a core group of players to listen to, that they can feed off, and that they can listen and they can have conversations with, and they need to be the players that are the core group of this 11, so that they can drag the team along with him, and the youngsters can then learn from players consistently, rather than chopping changing who they're getting advice from ultimately. So that's how I would probably approach it. And I would obviously like to see the likes of Luandre and Diawat get chances. I mean, I think Luandre definitely has proven that this format fits him. He's taken to SA20 cricket like a duck to water, and I know I'm using a stupid little phrase there or saying, but he's really settled in quite quickly when it comes to international cricket so far. But particularly, I'm talking about now that level of cricket and SA20 level. Deva Brevis had a really good season with the IPL and a decent season with SA20 after a difficult time um, in his second season. So I want to see both of them in a team together. I think him and Luandre and Deva can be, or really are, the two future players for South Africa in the batting department. I feel these two players have the ability to be able to grow together as a pair, and help each other's games, develop each other's games together, experience wise, feed off each other, etc. I think they can grow together, almost like a Xavi and Iniesta for Barcelona over the years. I felt these two can like be that two key players for South Africa that can grow together and experience things together. And that will be key for South Africa from that particular standpoint. So I'm very keen to see that core group get quite a few chances. I think then maybe perhaps Ruben Herman, they will probably mix things around with Ruben. But the way this team is set up every year, the way the players that have been selected, you can see the six being selected majority of the games. Um, and the thing is, Luandre is a wicketkeeper, so I think that would probably be the direction they go when it comes to the gloves. So he'll probably play every game if I'm thinking about it. Ruben Herman also, I think he also keeps, if I'm not mistaken. So that's another opportunity for someone. So that is there's a lot of opportunities here that are going to get given, um, and that's a good thing because that's ultimately what you want to see from a South African um, player. So you from a South African team, especially a newer, fresh South African team. The players that are new in the squad, you want to see them give opportunities. You don't want them to sit on the bench and not get that opportunity to be able to play. So you got your wicket keeping options now. It's just between Coach Shukri to understand whether they're going to be giving Ruben the gloves or Luandre the gloves or how they're going to go with that. But generally speaking, you could pick all six batters and then just swap between the all rounders because you've got also very few like designated seamers and or specialist seamers and a spinner. So yeah, so I'm happy with the balance and I'm happy with the names of the year. Um, and I would like to see what direction Coach Shukri goes in white ball cricket. And I'm going to reserve my opinions, etc., after I've watched him play his first game. You know, I know we've watched him play, coach a white ball team against England um, in interim before Rob Walter, but I really this T20 format I haven't seen him in. I haven't seen his mentality or his mindset when it comes to the T20 game quite yet. I don't have much. I haven't had much conversations with him either regarding the T20 game as much as I have when for the white ball and red ball game. So I'm very excited to see what Coach Shukri does with this format. How is he going to implement his mentality, his style, and etc. But the one thing that I think is so important would be the dynamic and the environment that he builds within the white ball space. Because that's what he got spot on. And I feel that is the thing for me in the red ball arena that he got spot on and that really helped South Africa become champions. It's the environment and the belief in his players that he created. And I want to see that same mentality. I think that will make us successful in white ball, in the white ball arena, is building that type of winning mentality and environment. So that's my preview, guys. That's my thoughts. I'm gonna get into the. I want to get into the quickly. I want to get into the press conference to hear if there's any news that was broken by Rassie van der Dussen in the actual presser itself. So let's get into that.
Yeah, obviously, great.
But I knew you guys can't hear anything. It's my stupidity. I forgot to reconnect it. Okay, let me just. I forgot to share the audio with that tab. Okay, so share audio. I um. Okay, let's start that again. Rassie coming here, the captain for. Can you hear now? Players that are uncapped. What have you? It's your first your reaction to coming in as a captain. Also, what have you spoken to the youngsters that come
Yeah, obviously, great honor to be captain. Obviously, there's some guys not in the team, so I'm happy to stand in the absence of Aiden. And yeah, like you said, four debutants. They've guys who've put in performances over the last 12 to 18 months. A guy like Luandre has banged the door down.
Wait,
Corbin Bosch has had probably the best 12 months of his life. Yeah, so really exciting. It's yes, they're debutants, but it feels like they've been part of the sort of setup for a while, and they certainly haven't looked like they certainly look like they belong. So it's going to be exciting to see how they go about it. Yeah, two good teams straight into international cricket. So yeah, it's going to be good.
yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
How excited are you about the Honduras talent?
Very excited. He's a great kid with a really good head on his shoulders. He's a guy who has the power game, obviously, and he combines that with talent and some flair, but he's got a really good cricketing brain as well. So it's not often that you see all those attributes together. That's why he could get into Test cricket and adapt straight away. He's obviously made his mark more in T20 cricket and in SA20 and so forth, and been to the IPL. But he has really good first class stats as well, and that shows you the guy has the game and the mind to adapt to any format, and that's what you're looking for.
That's always something I've spoken about with Landre. It's his mentality, maturity, and mentality. Absolutely fantastic. That sets him aside from other youngsters, I feel.
All right, Thomas, how are the preparations going for obviously this three-team series? I know obviously you're right on a high, South Africa's first trophy in almost 27 years. How have those preps been going? I know you spoke about the new guys coming in. How have you just sort of been keeping everybody, in the moments of first as you go into the series?
Yeah, it's been great. We all of us obviously took a lot of inspiration from the World Test Championship final. I don't
That's
think
good.
many people gave us a chance to even get to the final, and certainly not in the final. So, I mean, if you look at it, it speaks a lot of what we stand for and try to represent as South Africans, the resilience and the proud sporting nation as a whole. People expect results from us, and that sort of drives guys to perform seemingly above levels that people think are possible. So we definitely spoke about that in the squad, but it's for us that the chat has been really important to refocus. It's a different format, it's a different challenge lying ahead now, and the prep has been really good. Obviously, the guys had some time in the test, and we had a good camp in Pretoria. The guys who came in, really good camp there, and the last 2 days, the guys have been on point. So I felt that we would be ready to play today already. But that's always a good position to be in. You feel like you're raring to go, and hopefully we can hit the ground running.
Tri-series cricket has become such a rare commodity. When you're walking into this, and you're talking about two teams of different fortunes, Zimbabwe rebuilding, trying to get an international team, South Africa getting international World Cups, and of course New Zealand. Might missing Kenya was already two players, but how do you walk into a tri-series tournament, especially something that's become a rarity?
Not too different than a normal series, I suppose. I think it's a good thing. It's a nice thing. I think people bilateral series sometimes can feel sort of, in the greater scheme of things, quite insignificant, especially if it's in a format that's not really applicable, if there's no World Cup running onto it or something like that. So a third team sort of brings in a nice dynamic. There's a World Cup not too far away, so I presume all three teams will be having half an eye on that and looking at some players, and that's what's exciting in our team. We got guys, even a guy like Devil Brevis, he's played two already, but he's had a great 6 months, first in SA20, then in IPL.
I just spoke
And
about it.
that just speaks of our depth. We got Ngaba Peter and a few youngsters actually coming in. Andila Similani is really exciting. Kwena Mapaka, obviously, he'll be raring to go, having had a disappointing test probably in Bulawayo. So he'll definitely come out with something to prove, and that's exciting. You want guys pushing, you want as many players as possible pushing for spots in the team, not only in the team, but going forward in the long run as well. So that's where our team's at the moment. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to these next 2 weeks.
I share the sentiments with Rassi right there. I think he's spot on with his opinions on that. Generally speaking, Rassi is pretty straightforward, honest, so you know what you're going to get with him. So he hasn't said anything majorly surprising to me, but it's good information to give you guys, though.
A bit of a light question, light of the series with Larry Sauce. The world record for runs in the T20 matches, 175. I trust this time around there will be no one upstairs stopping someone from getting it.
Yeah, no, look, is that Chris Gale, right?
Yeah.
That's going to take some beating. I'm not sure. You know what? We saw guys in T10 cricket playing here T10 last year, guys getting 80s and 90s. And theoretically, if you can do that in 10 overs, it's not impossible to do it in 20 overs. So certainly if someone in our team gets there, I'll definitely be encouraging them to go for it.
So you see, the whole world record thing got spoken about. And what did Rassi say? He will tell them to go for that world record. It doesn't matter which legend holds it. Well done, Rassi van der Dussen.
Up to as well on this side. It's also attending the Shipping Conrad's debut T20 International Series as well as all format coach for Proteas. Just a word on what's it been like working with him in the white ball space, and then of course also the addition of Ruben Hadman and what he brings to the side.
Yeah, working with Shukri so far has been really refreshing. He's a very straight to the point type of character. Says it like it is, and players appreciates that. Everyone knows where they're standing. He's very relaxed and chilled in terms of general structure, but there's a very serious part of him as well in terms of taking responsibility for your preparation and the analysis and everything that goes into that. So he's had some great results with the test team. Obviously, the guys who've played under him in the tests speak really highly of him, and coming in the last few days, seeing how he operates and how the whole change room is just goes about it with all the support staff, and it's been really as a player, it's been really good to see, very specific but at the same time laid back. I want to say it's in a good way. So the squad's in a really good mental space at the moment. He said the other day he's a bit nervous because he's also debuting in T20, so hopefully we can make it a good one for him. Ruben Hadman, yeah, he's the type of guy. I think he's 27 now. He's taken a long route to come to where he is.
Yep.
Started off as at the Titans in Pretoria, being highly spoken about, and then sort of lost his contract and had to go back to the drawing board. Played Division 2 cricket for 2 years, and he's just from there the last 2 years just been putting constant performances in. So that speaks volumes of him as the character, of the dedication to his craft and his work, and the way he's played in the last 6 to 12 months has been unbelievable to see it. And again, it also shows you that you don't have to always be the 20-year-old coming into the system. If you put in consistent performances and you really bang the door down, age is just a number, really. So that's a great story for me as well.
Yeah, it's a great story also because Rassi van der Dussen had that kind of career as well. Getting introduced very late into international cricket. So I like that because Rassi can be a really good mentor for someone like Ruben Herman, I feel. Just from a mentality perspective and how Rassi settled in so late in his career.
Okay, it's too much to pick a question, but what I wanted to ask is, how important is this, in your opinion, for all these sides to play this kind of series? That's number one, and also for specifically for Zimbabwe hosting this kind of high-profile series.
It's great for the series to be here in Zim. I was just telling Mitch Santner outside, like the crowds here normally, having played here before, the crowds are great. People love their cricket over here. I have many friends back home that come from Zim. They're really passionate about their country and cricket in general. So I certainly love playing here. It's great I know the games are maybe at weird times during the week, but I'm sure on the weekend the stands will be filled up and there'll be a great atmosphere here. It's a great year for Zim cricket. They're playing a lot of cricket. They've got good players. They've got good young players coming up. We saw Bennett up in the test against England, and I certainly saw some guys here in the Zim T10 that had real talent. I think the more they play, the more they're going to I suppose, sort of get back to where they were or where they want to be. They've got a great head coach in Justin Salmon, someone I've worked with closely over the years that I know well. Charles Langefeld in the bowling department, and
South
yeah, it
Africans.
seems like they've got all the blocks in place to really kick on. And as our neighbours, if Zim is playing anyone else than us, then I'm always rooting for Zim. So they helped us with preparation for the World Test Championship final. It's like a neighbourly thing. So yeah, it's great to see that they're sort of back on the map, I would say.
Okay, so that is that. I think that gave us everything that we need to know. Clearly, by him speaking the way he has about Luandre, that means that Luandre is fit and he's in the squad and he's going to be playing. So I'm happy with that. I mean, that's my review of the day. Let me just read some of your comments out. Kani says, is CSA forcing Mapaki into international team too early for the satisfaction? He is getting smacked everywhere and it's going to make him low in confidence. Or what it could do is teach him. Sometimes for certain players, getting, especially if they come from success, and all they know is success, sometimes it's good for their character building for them to face some hardships so that they can go back to the drawing board and relearn skills to be able to combat what they are facing. So I think this might be a blessing in disguise that he's been facing what he has been facing, the turmoil that he's been facing, because it might make him a better cricketer in the end. Is Pretorius injured? I've answered that. Why? NY Times Square says, why do we bring Rassie always? I know there is no other experienced guys to captain, but let's throw some young guy to captaincy. We should move on from Rassie, because I don't think that their mentality is that they're looking for a future replacement for the captain right now. I think Aiden is the captain, and that's who Coach Shukri is going to want as his captain. So um, at the moment, I don't think he maybe sees in the younger players that are next in line for positions in the team. I don't think he sees maybe a captain in one of those players quite yet. So that's why you need an experienced head around there. I think I'm actually happy with the Rassi appointment. Any update on Muller? I would have liked to be there. Maybe he's just on a rest. I don't know where he is. Justin says would love to see Deva Brevis bat at 4. That would be a nice position for him. Deva should bat at 6, where he will likely bat at in 26 World Cup 5 or 6. That's if he gets selected. What about Luandre? He could be the surprise outside person that Coach Shukri brings in. Justin says, in New Zealand, they have their best squad available. SA could have at least added Stubbs and Miller. Maybe Stubbs, yeah. But I think it's maybe good that Stubbs is getting a little bit of a rest because he's played so much cricket. Maybe he needs a break from the sport. In what Times case is add Stubbs with the yes, Stubbs should be added into that mix as well to grow. Yes, I agree with you. Um, um, sound is gone. Okay, I fixed that. Daim says, Khalid, I think 5 is perfect position for Brevis. What do you think? 6 is too late. I mean, Devalt must be in the best position where he can express himself freely and fluently. I mean, 5, 6, it's not such a big thing in T20 cricket for me. I think the positions that you come in. I don't think it's as important in T20 cricket as it is like in Test cricket, for example, which position you come in. So I just want to see Deva play more games for South Africa. Daim says, I think we should move on from Riza. Let's see. I think Coach Shukri wants to, also see some of his experienced players in action in front of him when he's coach. Let's see, maybe he can take Riza's game to even another level, because I mean Riza's been the best T20 player for South Africa for the last 3 years. Let's just be honest about that. He might not have always hit it in the World Cups, etc., but he's been very, very decent and consistent for South Africa. Stubbs should be in T20I squad to regain form. He's not lacking form in T20 cricket. It's the longer format that he was maybe struggling a little bit over the last couple of games, perhaps. But you can't get your form back by playing T20 cricket for Red Bull for the longer formats. At least I don't think so. Terminator says Riza Hendricks the GOAT. Riza fire. Tex says, do you see Riza making the squad of 2026 World Cup? It all depends on performances now, I think. The next few games that Coach Shukri takes charge of, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not of the opinion to the shun a player out of the way because of age, because of all of that. If they're performing, they must be selected. That's my mentality. Dex says we lost 3-0 against West Indies under Rassi last year. Yeah, but under a different coach. NY Times Square says Devot should replace Klaasen directly in 11. There is no other batter in that place. Both of Luan and Devot should be in the squad for 26 World Cup. Still premature, I feel, to say that. Dex says Khalid, why Miller isn't part of the squad. I don't know the reason why, but I think it might be rest. Khalid, you see Klaasen reversing his retirement for next year's World Cup? I do not see so. Aslan says, let's hope Luan, Ruben, and Linda get to play all the games. Yeah, I would like to see those three also play all the games, to be honest. And where's Imad? Yeah, that is one shocking one, is where's Bjorn Fortuin? I would have liked to see Bjorn Fortuin in the mix. I'm not going to lie about that, because, I mean, he's been one of SA20's best bowlers for the last, in every single season that they've had a SA20, and even in the Mzansi Super League. So that is something that I think is crazy. In Watuan's case, do you see Mild in T20I? Not quite yet. I think he needs to show us more in SA20. He's shown us flashes there, but I think he needs to show a little bit more in the T20 format before we can start maybe selecting him. I think he should focus on the white ball ODI and Test Arena. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. That's my review, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. But also click that notification bell so you can get updated on when we go live. So please go ahead and do so as well. And once we've ended the stream, please comment in the comment section. I will try and give you guys as many comments as possible. I will reply to as many comments as possible. Tariq saying Alcaraz or Sinner. I like both of them, but Alcaraz for me. If anyone I badly want to see perform, it's Linda, Linda and Luan. First 11 needs these guys. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for watching and tuning in and giving me your comments. I will see you guys again for the review show after the match tomorrow. Stay safe, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I need to go and deal with something. So I will speak to you very soon. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Peace out.